Everyone recognized him as the untamed, erratic prince of darkness. But what most don't know is that Ozzy Osbourne led a life that only a select few were privy to. His death brought an eerie stillness that echoed more than any performance he ever gave, following decades of public mayhem, private conflicts, and an unexpected love story. Sharon Osbourne, his wife, stayed silent as fans lamented and condolences flowed in. Both her words and the details she disclosed about the guy behind the legend have shocked many since she decided to speak out so suddenly. Her revelations are shocking and devastating. No fan could have predicted this revelation. The last days and lasting impact of Ozzy Osbourne. John Michael Osbourne, who was born on December 3, 1948, in Marston Green, Birmingham, England, became one of the most famous and divisive individuals in rock history. Born into a working-class family, Ozzy Osbourne was captivated by the raw, rebellious spirit of rock and roll throughout his formative years. In 1967, he joined a band that would later form Black Sabbath, driven by his passion, who were among the first to play heavy metal and helped shape the genre. The band's sound was defined by lead singer Ozzy Osbourne's distinctive voice and eerie stage presence, which distinguished them from the prevailing musical trends of the time and heralded a new, darker period in rock music. Ozzy Osbourne was the face of Black Sabbath from 1967 until 1979, during which time the band's thunderous riffs, haunting themes, and doom were instantly recognizable. The band became legendary and inspired countless musicians worldwide with albums such as Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Master of Reality, and Paranoid. But there were mounting internal challenges that came before the success. The band's connections with Ozzy deteriorated as a result of his substance addiction problems, which culminated to his expulsion in 1979. The breakup was sad, but it was the turning moment that allowed Ozzy to start over as a solo artist and chart his own course in the music industry. When Ozzy Osbourne first went solo in 1980, he released the album Blizzard of Oz, which proved his doubters wrong and solidified his place in rock history. Commercially and critically, the album was a smashing success because to its memorable tracks such as Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley. With the help of guitarist Randy Rhoads' technical prowess, it brought Ozzy's vocals into a new era of his career. Together, they breathed new life into the genre and gave Ozzy's solo efforts a lift. But controversy followed his music like a shadow. During a 1981 meeting with record label executives, Ozzy caused a stir in the media when he bit the head off a dove. The stunt, which was intended as a publicity gimmick, stunned the public and solidified his reputation as a wild and unpredictable rock figure. Next, in 1982, he stunned Iowa concertgoers once again by biting the head off a real bat that an audience member had tossed onto the stage. Ozzy was hurriedly shot with rabies injections after the act, unaware that the bat was genuine. Many found these scenes upsetting, but they became iconic representations of his wild, theatrical demeanor and added to his rising mythology. In 1982, while on tour for Diary of a Madman, Ozzy's close friend and collaborator Randy Rhoads died in a terrible plane disaster. On a personal and professional level, Ozzy was crushed by the loss. He owed a great deal of his recent creative revival to Rhoads. His untimely passing created an emptiness that will linger for a long time. Regardless, Ozzy persisted, incorporating his sorrow into his music and carrying on with his performances. For a short time in 1985, he performed at Live Aid, a legendary charity event that brought in money to help end the African famine, alongside his old colleagues from Black Sabbath. Reuniting was a cathartic experience, and it showed that Ozzy was still dedicated to using his fame for good. In the early 2000s, Ozzy's life received an additional twist when he and his family became famous as stars of the MTV reality show The Osbournes, which ran from 2002 to 2005. Viewers got an unexpectedly open and frequently hilarious glimpse into the Osbourne family's tumultuous but love dynamic on the show. It was so popular that it catapulted Ozzy to stardom and won over listeners who had never heard his music before. I found it humorous when Lola the Bulldozer puked on the show, but it was only one of many ways the series portrayed the rock star's human side and the struggles he still faced, such as his addiction. With his intricate familial relationships. Unexpectedly, Ozzy was made an honorary colonel in the United States Air Force in 2003. Defense Forces. His performances for American troops were recognized, and his support for military service people was highlighted by the recognition. Fans were reminded that Ozzy was more than just the stunning headlines, and this act of gratitude was a sharp contrast to his defiant public persona. He had amused people from all walks of life for decades, even those serving overseas. In the years that followed, he grounded himself and reflected on his life's journey. With the publication of his autobiography, I Am Ozzy, In 2010, Ozzy gave readers a glimpse into his life and career through anecdotes, dark humor, and profound thoughts. He brought his career full circle that year when he reunited with Black Sabbath for a few concerts and albums. He continued to perform and engage with people even though his health was deteriorating and he had been on the road for decades. As he aged, his resiliency grew more apparent, and fans respected his determination to persevere in the face of mounting adversity. Ozzy Osbourne made his diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, a degenerative neurological disorder, public in January 2020. There was a deluge of support after the announcement. It is, in fact, correct. Please, please, please. On the part of both listeners and other artists. Despite the devastating news, Ozzy remained active in the public eye. In contrast, the same year he dropped Ordinary Man, an introspective album that featured guest appearances from Post Malone and Elton John. Offering an unusual window into the thoughts of a man facing his own frailty, the album included topics such as gratitude, legacy, and mortality. Still, he hadn't done all. Joined by members of Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne took the stage for a farewell performance in Birmingham on July 5, 2025. The performance was moving, dramatic, and meaningful. A farewell to the hometown that nurtured him, the group that propelled him to stardom, and the supporters who have supported him for over half a century. After a little over 2 weeks, on July 22, 2025, at the age of 76, Ozzy Osbourne died away. Consequences stemming from his chronic health conditions, including Parkinson's disease, were the causes of his death. Ozzy Osbourne's legacy is engulfed in scandal, controversy, and deeply personal issues, but it is also loaded with innovative music and amazing performances. His professional accomplishments are indisputable, but many parts of his public life surprised people and caused them to react strongly. In addition to his achievements, Ozzy's story is marked by his human frailties and the challenging times that impacted the public's perception of him, including his strange behavior on stage, legal conflicts, and public confessions regarding his substance using. Along with his music, these aspects were integral to his public persona, building a multifaceted character that fearlessly pursued their passions while simultaneously drawing admiration and criticism. His stunning onstage and offstage behavior was a major part of Ozzy's public persona. These occurrences weren't mere hearsay. They made news and added to the mythology surrounding his character. The early 1980s may have been the most notorious time. During a meeting with officials from CBS Records, Ozzy severed the head of a dove. His image as a dangerous and unpredictable individual was further reinforced by the episode, which shocked everyone there, despite its alleged origins as a defiant promotional stunt. A year later, Ozzy chewed the head off a fan-thrown bat during a live performance in Des Moines, Iowa. He first thought it was a rubber prop, but he soon realized it wasn't. Was required to undergo rabies treatment without delay. In Ozzy's performance persona, these incidents came to represent himself. Incredible, outlandish, and always challenging the status quo. I needed to increase my use of alcohol in order to achieve my goal. I aim to maintain an even-keeled demeanor. You know, he simply betrayed you. The story was that he snorted a line of ants on tour, ostentatiously to surpass Mötley Crüe's antics, among other wild rumors. Some people close to Ozzy have cast doubt on the veracity of this story, despite its widespread circulation and media depictions. The story entered the mythology that encircled him regardless of how true it was. His intransigence has been at the core of a mythology that combines reality and fantasy. However, Ozzy's lifelong struggles with substance misuse were the real reason behind his public antics. He was arrested for disorderly behavior and involved in multiple public incidents due to his substance use problems. Ozzy subsequently stated that it took decades to tackle his deeper difficulties with addiction, and these episodes reflected that. Over the years, he participated in multiple rehabilitation programs, but he still faced numerous obstacles on his path to recovery. There was never any shame on Ozzy's part in admitting the harm these drugs did to him and everyone else. In 1989, Ozzy struck his wife, Sharon, brutally while under the influence of alcohol, marking a low point in his addiction. He later admitted the gravity of the situation and conveyed his profound remorse. He spent some time in a mental institution after the assault landed him in jail. As part of their mission to be open and honest about the risks of substance usage, Sharon decided not to seek charges and they stayed together. They later discussed the incident publicly. For both of them, that was a watershed moment in Ozzy's fight against his demons and in their relationship. Beyond his own actions, Ozzy's career was characterized by controversy, which manifested itself in court battles and societal rejection. Some reviewers felt that Ozzy's song, Suicide Solution, had a negative impact on teenage listeners, which led to a significant debate. The lyrics were declared free speech under the First Amendment, and the courts rejected the lawsuits that had been filed in the 1980s. The tune, according to Ozzy and his followers, was meant to serve as a warning about the risks of substance misuse, not as an encouragement of bad conduct. But the case did start a national dialogue on how music affects young people's mental health and how it shapes their culture. Notable legal conflicts arose over payment and acknowledgement, notably involving Lee Kerslake and Bob Daisley, two former collaborators. The two artists sued Ozzy and his management, asserting that they were unjustly paid and uncredited for their contributions on seminal early solo albums, such as Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. Fans and critics alike were outraged by the controversial reissue of the albums in reaction to the legal action, which featured other musicians instead of Daisley and Kerslake. The episode brought to light long-standing problems within the music industry regarding artistic ownership and financial fairness. Yet, the backlash did result in the restoration of the original recordings in subsequent editions. Don Arden, Ozzy's previous boss in Black Sabbath, and Ozzy had a terrible personal and professional falling out. And Sharon Osbourne's father. An already tense family dynamic became even more so when the disagreement turned into a court battle, revealing the dirty little secret of music industry management. The separation and subsequent clash with Arden signaled a clear change in Ozzy's professional trajectory, as Sharon assumed the role of manager. Despite the ups and downs, Sharon was able to strengthen her role in directing his work and safeguarding his interests as a result of this chapter. Another tidal wave of public scrutiny hit in the early 2000s, this time filtered through reality TV. Viewers got a glimpse into Ozzy and his family's quirky and often chaotic home in 2002 when the Osbournes debuted on MTV. The show reached a whole new audience and brought Ozzy many more admirers. But Sharon came clean about a disturbing reality in the years that followed. While the show was being filmed, Ozzy had not been sober. Reality television's depiction of addiction and the possible exploitation of individuals battling with it have been the subject of larger discussions over the ethics of the medium since the revelation. Some thought the show shouldn't have broadcast under such circumstances, while others thought it was a good way to humanize Ozzy and raise awareness about mental health and recovery. The media mogul is the musical heiress of Sharon Osbourne. A life lived with complexity, resilience, and unfaltering loyalty has been Sharon Osbourne's. Her journey, which she lived through with Ozzy Osbourne, is a testament to the resilience and determination that shaped not just her husband's illustrious career, but also her own position in the international entertainment industry. Sharon frequently took center stage, managing, protecting, and constructing an empire around Ozzy, whose conflicts and personal issues captivated the globe. However, Sharon Rachel Levy's origins were firmly anchored in the music industry from the start, long before she became a reality TV star. Sharon Rachel Levy was immersed in the entertainment industry from the moment she was born on October 9, 1952, in London, England. As a prominent and influential music manager, her father Don Arden was notorious for being as vicious as he was successful. Growing up, Sharon saw the music industry for what it is, a fierce and frequently vicious environment. Her eventual management style and ability to thrive in a male-dominated field were both influenced by this formative experience. When Sharon's father was managing Ozzy Osbourne's career with Black Sabbath in the early 1970s, they crossed paths. During a tumultuous and crucial period in Ozzy's career, they started dating. The professional and emotional parts of their life quickly started to blend together. Sharon was the one who took charge of Ozzy's career when Black Sabbath fired him in 1979, after he had been through a difficult time in his life. This opportunity would shape the course of their subsequent lives together. During the 80s and 90s, Sharon's influence in the music industry grew. She remained Ozzy's manager throughout his career, seeing him through critically acclaimed albums, sold-out tours, and major milestones. Her development of Ozzfest, a music festival that became an important player in the heavy metal scene, is one of her most famous efforts. Oversaw the expansion of the festival and ensured that it continued to attract both established and up-and-coming artists, reviving the genre while providing fans with a one-of-a-kind venue to enjoy their favorite music. At Ozzfest, Sharon's skills as a business strategist and promoter were on full display, and Ozzy's industry importance was further solidified. In 2002, Sharon and her family became the stars of the MTV reality series The Osbournes, which completely transformed Sharon's professional trajectory. The show gave viewers an unvarnished glimpse into the Osbourne family, highlighting the love, laughter, and daily mayhem that permeates the home. Sharon became famous and beloved by many viewers due to her sharp intellect, fearless character, and unwavering loyalty to her family. Between 2002 and 2005, Sharon Osbourne's name became famous outside of the music industry as the Osbournes were a cultural phenomenon. Sharon took advantage of her rising star power by launching her daytime talk show, The Sharon Osbourne Show, in 2003. This gave her the opportunity to engage with viewers on a more casual and intimate level. Sharon was a member of the X Factor UK judging panel from 2004 until 2007, where she gained a reputation for her direct criticism, genuine feelings, and approach to mentoring. She helped launch the careers of numerous young musicians with her unique blend of industry knowledge and real emotion, which she brought to the talent competition. No matter if she was gushing over a contestant's performance or vehemently defending her team, her charisma and ability to connect with the audience made her a beloved figure on the show. In a time when television identities were meticulously crafted, Sharon's honesty struck out. Her autobiography, Extreme, published in 2007, detailed her life's events and became an instant hit. Her upbringing, troubled connection with her father, meteoric climb to fame, and tumultuous but ultimately successful marriage to Ozzy were all detailed in the book. Sharon revealed a more authentic and introspective side of herself in her memoir, exposing the mental and emotional strain she endured as a result of juggling her family, her career, and her fame. Thanks to the book's popularity, she became known as a survivor, someone who had built a successful profession despite facing tremendous personal hardship and intense pressure. She joined Howie Mandel and Piers Morgan as judges on America's Got Talent in 2010, further expanding her prominence in television. Viewers were once again captivated by her ability to combine compassion with strong love. But Sharon was in the news in 2012 when she quit the show to voice her disapproval. The mother asserted that her son, Jack Osbourne, was unjustly barred from appearing on an NBC show following the disclosure of his MS diagnosis. Her unwavering devotion to her family shone through when she turned down a significant television chance, and her unwavering commitment to defending her beliefs no matter the cost. Sharon co-hosted the CBS daytime panel show The Talk from 2014 to 2017, during which time she boldly discussed pop culture, politics, and entertainment with her signature style. She was a beloved and divisive personality on the show due to her outspoken ideas and willingness to speak her thoughts. Even though she was the subject of criticism on occasion, her presence served to highlight her strength as a woman who would not be bullied or stifled by the demands of public life. Sharon maintained oversight of Ozzy's career even as the number of public appearances she made increased. Ordinary Man was a moving endeavor that explored mortality and legacy. She was in the music video for it in 2020. In the background, she was still very active with planning his tours, supervising commercial agreements, and making sure Ozzy's legacy was safe and honored. Remained a constant in his life despite health scares, personal difficulties, and media storms, and at times was the only one who could keep everything together. Sharon Osbourne's public feuds and scandals stem from her determination to face problems head-on, which contributed to her meteoric climb to prominence with her media charisma and financial savvy. But with fame came criticism, and she and her husband Ozzy have both had to deal with scandals and tough choices throughout their lives. At once a symbol of strength and a target of scorn, her fearlessness and unvarnished candor thrust her into the spotlight and sparked heated public debate. Sharon Osbourne's decision to manage Ozzy Osbourne's solo career following his 1979 departure from Black Sabbath was one of the most personal and difficult disputes of her life. Exacerbated tensions amongst the family. The primary cause of their separation, according to Sharon, was her father's domineering and demanding conduct. The emotional toll was high, and the animosity between them persisted for a long time. Professional betrayal and unfinished hurts destroyed their familial bond. Sharon paid an emotional premium to protect Ozzy and further her career in the entertainment industry. Their broken relationship, though they reconciled before Arden died in 2007, highlighted the cost of ambition in the industry. Sharon's roles on reality TV frequently displayed her feisty attitude, where her notoriety and scandal only grew. She gained fame on the X Factor UK for her forthright criticisms and habit of naming names among the judges. During their notorious feud, Sharon claimed that Minogue was biased and had an impact on the backstage atmosphere, which in turn affected the other competitors and judges. The media paid close attention to these charges because they were shared in interviews and memoirs. During the feud, we saw how high-stakes talent competitions are really structured and how Sharon's forthright comments have garnered her both admiration and criticism. Another chapter to Sharon's public disagreements was added when she left America's Got Talent in 2012. She claimed that her son, Jack Osbourne, had been unfairly removed from a scheduled NBC sitcom following his MS diagnosis. accused the network of treating people unfairly and failing to help them because of their disability in a highly publicized leave. The scandal sparked widespread discussion about discrimination in the workplace and Sharon's role as an overprotective mother, even though NBC refuted the allegations. She showed her dedication to her family by turning down a job in a high-profile TV show. Yet, it did show how easily personal boundaries may cause professional relationships to fall apart. During her tenure as a co-host on the CBS daytime program The Talk in 2021, Sharon was involved in a controversy that garnered a lot of attention. Sharon came to Piers Morgan's defense in March of that year when he openly blasted Meghan Markle after her Oprah Winfrey interview. During the heated on-air argument that ensued from the defense, Sharon felt unfairly chastised and sought clarification from co-host Sheryl Underwood. The media began to talk about representation, justice, and responsibility more generally after the incident. Speculation quickly circulated that Sharon had made comments in previous seasons that were deemed culturally offensive while she was behind the scenes. Sharon's departure from the show was the result of an internal investigation that CBS undertook. She then asserted that the network's producers had framed her and that she was unjustly depicted. This incident changed the course of her broadcast career and made her reconsider her place in American daytime television. The incident highlighted larger social tensions and the growing trend of holding public personalities responsible for their statements and deeds in our more delicate and interconnected world. Sharon was the target of intense media attention due to her outspokenness regarding cosmetic surgery and her appearance, in addition to her professional and personal problems. Facelifts, stomach tucks, and breast augmentations were just a few of the many treatments she openly discussed throughout the years. Some praised her candor and openness about dealing with public scrutiny while she aged, while others said she promoted unattainable ideals of beauty. Sharon took the compliments and criticisms she received in stride, maintaining that her decisions were autonomous and meaningful to her. Nevertheless, the focus on her physical attributes frequently eclipsed her work achievements and rekindled conversations regarding the expectations put on women in the entertainment industry to uphold a specific persona. Ozzy Osbourne, 76 years old, died quietly at home in Buckinghamshire on July 22, 2025, with Sharon and their children by his side. This is Sharon's last tribute to Ozzy. One of the most consequential people in rock music's history passed away, and the entire globe took a moment to remember him. Earlier that month, at Birmingham's Villa Park, Ozzy, also known as the Prince of Darkness, had a powerful and symbolic farewell performance with Black Sabbath. His death followed. Ozzy said goodbye to his followers at that concert, where he sat for the majority of the performance owing to health issues, bringing an end to a career that had both defined and challenged generations. Sharon Osbourne, who had been his manager, wife, and companion for more than 40 years, finally spoke out in the days after his death. In a public speech, Sharon celebrated the man she had supported through his rise to stardom, addiction, and health problems. At the end of the message, she revealed that Ozzy had insisted on doing one last show despite his deteriorating health. The statement was full of emotion and pride. Both he and she felt that it was the most memorable performance of their lives. In doing so, he bid farewell to the audience and the theater, the very places that had shaped his life. Ozzy would be able to pass away with peace and dignity because to the extensive preparations made behind closed doors by Sharon and the family. As his disease advanced, his mobility and well-being were ensured by the modifications made to their London house to suit his demands. In what they understood to be his last months, these actions mirrored their common desire for solitude, closeness, and tranquility, showed how much Ozzy valued being at home with his loved ones, away from the limelight. Despite the emotional toll, Sharon never avoided discussing Ozzy's Parkinson's diagnosis, tearfully admitting that she would cry anytime Ozzy wasn't looking. She had previously revealed the anguish of watching her husband's health diminish, particularly in the ITV documentary Paxman, Putting Up with Parkinson's. Watching someone so energetic fight against their physical constraints had been a sobering experience for her. Several major health problems plagued Ozzy as he neared the end of his voyage. His limited movement is a result of spinal surgery he had in 2022. Ozzy seemed to fade from public view for a while when issues necessitated the postponement of tour dates. However, Sharon stressed that he was always doing art. In his latter years, he continued to compose music, record vocals, and finish his autobiography, Last Rites. No one should remember him for his illness, she argued, but for his creativity. Sharon cleared the air in her tribute by addressing the media's misunderstandings and wild guesses about Ozzy's health during the past few years. Their purported agreement in Switzerland about assisted suicide was one source of contention. Sharon made it clear that the media had distorted the subject, even if she and Ozzy had discussed it in theory, especially due to their concern of extended pain. She was adamant that preserving control and dignity had always been their goals, not running away from life too soon. Sharon expressed her deepest appreciation in her message for the overwhelming support she has received from fans and the music industry. She cited moving tributes paid by great musicians who have recognized Ozzy's impact on music and culture, including Elton John, Rod Stewart, and Ronnie Wood. Even younger artists paid tribute, seeing Ozzy as an innovator who influenced contemporary rock. This tribute meant more to the family than words could explain, according to Sharon, who was moved by it. She briefly mentioned Ozzy's non-musical accomplishments as well. Unexpectedly, Ozzy had become a Parkinson's awareness advocate in recent years. He inspired other people to come up about their struggles when he came clean about his disease. Sharon was proud of his decision to go public, noting that he found ways to give back even while he was sick. Sharing details about his illness had given his complicated and significant legacy an additional layer, even though he had always worried about being forgotten.